Hello friends and welcome back to my studio. I'm Michael Smell. This is Stinky Robot. Thanks for coming in, guys. Thanks for showing up and watching the video. I appreciate everybody. My chair is too low here. There we go. Felt a little bit short. Alright, so we're going to just talk for a second while I get things ready to go, but I want to say thank you. This week has been pretty awesome. You know, like I said, we are starting out, we're a new, fresh channel, and this week I think we've gotten more views just in this last week and a half or so than I have over the last several months. So thank you guys very much for that. You guys are starting to show up. I think I'm tickling the algorithm just a little bit, which is a good sign that we're on the right direction. So thank you for that. Yeah, so one thing I want to address real quick, let me jump over. This is the newest video I have up. It is Koi Bomb. It's revamping an old painting. My wife has been begging me to do it for years, and she's constantly asked me to redo the painting. So I decided to go ahead and give it a try. If you want to see what the painting looks like, it's actually in my newest video. I dropped 2 videos on this one. The first video, I kind of felt a little rushed, and the editing was not the greatest. It's been out for a couple days. It's still up. It's got a decent amount of views right now. I think it's sitting about 260 views and counting. So I'm going to leave it up. And then I dropped a re-edited version of this today. And the new re-edit, actually, I show the original painting in there, so you kind of see what the original painting looked like, so that's a pretty cool little element, I think, personally. Hey, what's up, Stacy? But again, I'm going to leave both videos up, just kind of let them compete for a little while. I'm testing out some new elements to see if they get some more views or whatever. So if you've already watched the first video and you want to go in and check out the re-edited version, that'd be greatly appreciated. That'd be awesome. But I'll probably, at some point, when the old video stops getting hits, I'll probably go ahead and just kill it and let the new video ride. So, but any suggestions that you guys have to help me out, that would be fantastic. Leave in the comments. Great. All right, so that's Koi Bomb. But with that, also, don't forget, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thumbs up's always appreciated. Today, we're on part 2 of this is a 2-parter. I started this one last week, but we could not quite get that far into it because it's a full saturation piece, and I'm kind of pushing the boundaries of what I can do with acrylic inks, and just more like treating it like I'm acrylic painting, not so much of an ink drawing. So there we go. This is where we're at. I went ahead and knocked out, this border is just the same shape repeated 4 times. So it wouldn't get too repetitive on the channel. Off camera, I went ahead and did paint the 3 of the 4 sides. I left 1 to do on camera. But with that, I think we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get started. Get to work. Boom, there's a little timer going. All right. Hey, just be me. Okay. Now I gotta remember where I was exactly when I left off last time. Color wise, I know I was working with this earth red and the violet. And we need a little bit of Payne's gray out here as well. See, in fact, I think I'm gonna stick with more of the red on this part of it. Let's see if purple may hold off for now and work with these. All right, let's get started. So I'm also on the fence a little bit on one aspect. You guys are welcome to chime in. Trying to decide, because I've done, typically on the live streams, I would knock out a piece I can do within 3 hours from pretty much start to finish. But that also means that when it comes to this inking, the acrylic ink part of it, I'm doing more washes and less saturation just because, you know, time management. When I go full saturation, it takes a lot more building of layers and whatnots to thicken up the ink and make it really good. So I'm on the fence whether I should just continue doing what I've started here. Like I said, this is a 2-part series, so a lot of my videos would end up being 2 and maybe 3-part series. So every week I'd add on to the painting that we're currently working on, which I kind of like that idea personally. Or keep doing the one and done sketches where I just kind of go in there and use washes and do a quick piece of art. That way I can finish a piece from start to finish in one day. Again, evolution of the channel. So we've changed these drawings up several times since I started. I think this is actually live stream number 53. So this is, well, technically this is the 54th live stream, but 53rd piece of art, which is quite a bit of art. That's a lot to get done in just a few months. So I'm on the fence. Like I said, feel free to chime in. Love to have your opinions on it. Yeah. Alrighty then. Scarlet. Oh, that's flame red. Yeah, there we go. I'll bring a little purple into the shadow side of this, but I want this to stand out from that purple hat, so we're using a lot more reds. Now we're just thickening up the ink, getting ready to do some blending. Now we're working all mid-tone stuff right now. Just getting the color base about where I want it before we start adding the shadows and highlights. And honestly, I may bring a little bit of orange into it by adding some yellow here in just a minute. Just kind of pull that color forward a little bit before I go doing the highlights. Add some pre-shadowing, darken that red up. Okay. Now, with a little bit of yellow ochre. I encourage everybody, of course, to grab a piece of paper and pencil and just draw at home and mess around with your own style of work, whatever you feel like creating, and just draw with me. Use this as a practice period. Or you're welcome to jump in the chat and say hi. It gets a little hard sometimes to answer all the chat and keep up with the chat line when it really gets going when you're working, but I would definitely be keeping an eye on it. So if you want to say anything, I will see it. Sure. There is a link also down in the descriptions for the new video I just dropped. So if you want to check it out, feel free to hit that link down in the description. Maybe we'll bring just a little bit of purple into that hat in here. Just a tiny bit. We're just about done with the band. Now add a little more shadow. I'm just gonna go with the Payne's Gray. Cool. That looks pretty fantastic. We need one little flash highlights here. We got it good. Touch more white. All right, there we go. Next. Probably just finish this whole hat up here. So I'll go with the bird nest and the eggs and just get that all buttoned. We're gonna go with a little raw sienna, some burnt umber, little ochre, and of course the whites in there, as well as probably some black as well. That out where I have on my palette. Or when you ever touch the yellow or anything like that, you need to be using black and not blue to avoid accidentally getting green. Unless that's what you want. I'm just gonna go ahead and brush in the color, get that started. Bit of a base to work off of. And some more yellows up here near the front and where the light's hitting. Okay, putting some dark brown in there a little bit, give some dimension. And now, like I said, we're just building a little mid-tone base for it all. Once we have it all where we want it, we'll come back in with a nice thin brush and we'll just kind of, then we'll turn the little hay particles in. Yeah. Okay. Now. Laying in a little black and brown here. Give us some dark pitted areas. And this is where I get, it looks like hay coming out, a little straw. Hey, what's going on, Tank? Just saw you popped on there. How you doing, my man? Okay, just gonna build this up. Try to make it look like a matted mess. I want to get overly detailed here, but I think I put a few little more straws than I wanted to. So now we're gonna just add some more and try to work it in until it all makes sense. That's the goal right now. Oh. Put some highlights in here. Build up a secondary layer just to kind of clean it up a bit. Got a little messier than I wanted to, but that's not a big deal. It's an easy fix. We'll just create another quick layer. And that's it. A few touches and we'll go back to the square. Yeah, that doesn't sound fair at all. I want to be sitting on a campground. Sounds pretty nice right about now. We do a lot of camping here. We love camping. It's right up our alley. Now back to the highlight. Try not to overwork it like I did last time. I'm so sure I overworked it. I think I actually added to it, so I think I'm pretty happy with that. Okay. Done. Your car camping, right? Cool. We're definitely the traditional tent kind of people. We have big tent for mom and dad and little tent for the kids. My wife has a whole separate tent, where she has a whole camping kitchen that we take with us. We do go straight glamping, air mattresses, and she has a full camp kitchen thing that folds out and expands out, and stoves and all kinds of good stuff. There is nothing better than a brisk morning and a hot, fresh brewed coffee right off the little fire grill. The little the Coleman stove, that's what I'm trying to say. Good stuff. Now, I want to go in with these eggs, and we want to go with a real light blue. I think we're going to go with the turquoise. No, we have the turquoise in the background, so that might blend a little much. So we're going to go with the cyan. We're going to get real light. Little brush. Need some more white. Yeah, it's a bummer this year. We had several camping trips were planned out. Then unfortunately our dog got real sick. And because of his issues, we can't just leave him with anybody, which kind of sucks. So he's not allowed to be outside for more than 2 or 3 minutes. I think I've talked about this on here before, but yeah, so because of that, we ended up having to basically, he can't be babysat and we can't leave him with him, and we can't take him with us. So we decided too young to put down, but we just can't. The camping trips kind of got pushed out, which kind of sucked. I don't think we're going to have more than another year or so anyway, so it'll all work out in the end. Until then, we'll give him the best life we humanly can. But a few sacrifices have to be made, aka big vacations and camping trips. But he's doing really, really good right now, so that's good. All right. Lighten these eggs up. I'm gonna put some spots on here in just a second. Make them blue spotted eggs. I'm not sure what kind of bird I'm gonna make down there. I'm just got like a yellow sparrow or something along those lines. Alright, let's make them speckled. Where's my little brush? That's kind of fun. There we go. 3 eggs. Guess we're just gonna work all the way down since I feel like that's the way to go. So we'll hit the eyes and the monocle, then we'll hit the snakes and the birds, and then we'll finish out with this last border piece I haven't done on here. Last thing I'll do is I'm gonna paint this whole outer perimeter black, and then we're gonna have a pretty cool looking portrait. I'm gonna go back to my thin brush. I've got some ochre out there right now. I'm gonna stain that. You can stay ochre. Actually, I might move to Indian yellow. I kind of want this monocle to pop a little bit. We'll jump over to the Indian yellow. And the tricky part is going to be painting this little teeny tiny chain. There's an itty bitty chain here. It's going to have to get painted. I can leave some of the white showing on the chain as highlights, so that works out nicely. Go. Gold in there. Now, wonder. Ooh, that was almost a mistake. Grab my number 1 thick. That would have been bad. One of my 01. I feel like want to do a little bit of the warp that you're going to get in the glasses themselves. So that's going to be something we'll play with here in a minute. When I get the lens in there, we'll try to play a little bit of the lens warp. It's going to be a little tricky though. We'll see how crazy we actually go with that. Maybe just make it simple. One of those on the fence type situations. Yeah, I tell you what, Tank, Amish food is just about the best. We there's a little town called Garnett between where my parents live and where I'm at from, and there's a little campground there, so we've gone there a few times. I've gone camping there, but yeah, we always stop at a little Amish restaurant there in town. And every time we swing through there, we gotta stop and eat. They've got the best food. Amazing pies too. Oh, so good. So good. Back. Included all of my ink with the black. I almost need a palette camera so you can see the colors that I'm mixing or putting out there. Should be nice. You know, maybe a future studio upgrade. Now, did not paint so much the inside of that eye. A little bit of blue in there. Here's I have some highlights to play with here in just a minute. The Payne's gray. Feather that out. Small details, but it's what makes the difference. Okay, now I can come with the black. And let's get this eye painted in there. It's not going to be the same size as the other eye. But that is done on purpose. At least as of right now. If it goes south on me, like me just putting brown inside the eye instead of black, then I'll claim that it's totally done on purpose. But Cleveland, nice. I have never been in that part of the country. Pretty much have just stuck around the Midwest, like Missouri, Kansas, Colorado, Minnesota kind of area. A few times I've flown out to like California or Florida, but for the most part I stay stuck right here in the Midwest. Which I guess Ohio is technically in the Midwest, but my Midwest. Central. Make a correction there in a second. Again, I'm dipping in brown. Brown looks just like black. Okay. Maybe next time I'll put them on opposite sides of my palette instead of right next to each other. Little things like that, you know, common sense. Sounds like my wifey's just walking in the door. Okay. Thanks, Tank. Appreciate it. There's a little detail I noticed up there. I could use to darken that up a shade. After ink dried, it looked a little bit dull. Now, way better. All right, now through the inner glass of the monocle. For this, I think we're going to probably pull out a little bit of gray. Of course, some white. And I'm basically just trying to show light, little reflection. I want the figure to still show through. A little tricky to make sure you get enough detail that it looks right, but then not so much detail you lose everything. I do not like, I'm going to try to fix it a little bit, is as it goes over top of that eye right there, kind of made him look a little bit frumpy, a little like he had a sagging eye. So I'm going to put some more black in there just to clean that up a little bit. There we go. I think that helps. And let's try the thin brush for my details instead of the brush. Again, that could also help. Okay. We're going to end it right there because I'm overworking this a little bit. Well, yes. There we go. Monocle. Now what do we think? Bird or snake? What should we go with first? All right. Bird it is. All right, we're just going to dust in some yellow just to get it started. There we go, some ochre now. Darken our yellow up. We're going to start pushing our shadow details. Don't really plan on going back over it with more ink pen. Got to keep it, make sure we got a good set of tone and value throughout our colors in order to make it more painterly, because that's kind of the goal we're going for this one. A lot more painterly. Like so, and hopefully this yellow is turning up good on camera. Sometimes I work with the more vibrant colors like the light blues and the yellows. Sometimes it can get a little bit lost on the camera. It's great on my end of it. Again, we're leaving some of that white in there for our highlights. The more white we leave, the less we have to add. Touch back. Just a touch. Liking that so far. Okay. That's pretty subtle, and that's exactly what we're going for. Subtlety. With this black and brown, just kind of work out those beak details. Gray in with it too. All right, go. A little bit more gray. Feather that up. All right. Got ourselves a little beak. And black wings. course, I'm blending some gray in with them. We'll do the white highlights here in a second. So nicely blended in. Another really tiny detail brush for this part. Get a little more gray out. And we're going to kind of blend into some light details here on the feathers. Not a lot. Just enough to add a little bit of separation and kind of give it some character. Side down for a second and get my big head in the shot. And biggest problem with going with this detail, sometimes I got to get this big old head of mine right up in it. And there we got some kind of made up bird here. Okay. And we just got a little bit of feet action to do. Probably gonna go with maybe a little orange and some browns. That could look pretty decent. Feet. No, you know, we better stick with the black and gray. I think that's kind of, we don't want to mix it up too much at this point. I don't want it to end up looking like a chicken on accident, so right up in here. Palette. Little tricky to say. We'll initially lose some detail and then we'll bring it back out. Now put a little white, just a little bit of white highlights here and there on the feet, and then we can call that done. Move on to the next part. All right, that's a bird, guys. And the snake is going to be quite interesting. We're going to try some new things on the snake, so it could be somewhat challenging. But I want him to be this blue, really cool water snake thing I found. We're just going to get creative with him. And we're definitely using full color. That's safe to say. Green. Cyan. You know what? Maybe Mary. Let's see. Might go marine blue. This might work better. Let's try marine blue. Okay. Now I want a little bit of yellow too. I want to go really light yellowish. Okay. Sorry, it's hard to verbalize what I'm planning on doing here, but you're just gonna watch and check this out. Either this is gonna look awesome, or you're gonna witness a guy beat his head on the wall repeatedly. I think we'll be all right. Take our time. We're gonna try to get a really smooth color blend right here. I need to add a little blue to this. I don't want it to be too green. Bring a little cyan mixed in. See what this does. green around the back end here. I think this snake's gonna need a little work to get him where I'm wanting, but it'll be good. Great when it's all finished up, I think. The real question is going to be when I try to add these little scales in here, what's going to do. Definitely different. Experimenting here and trying new things. I was tempted, of course, just to make an ordinary plain old snake. But I'm doing a little research for snakes. I just kind of fell upon this one. I was like, you know what? This one's fantastic. Let's give it a shot. We're trying something new, which is the whole point of this live stream, is to just experiment and play, push the boundaries of what I can do. So, not. Now I'm just kind of facing in some scale details. We're attempting to, at least. we're just kind of building this whole building from the bottom up. So one little piece at a time, working them out. Until we get eventually to the point where we can do highlights and shadows. He's interesting for sure. I like the color. What do you guys think? Not so sure it's sold with this entire palette. What I've got going on the rest of the piece, but we'll see if I can tone it down a little bit here at the end. I still have a long ways to go with the highlights and shadows and whatnot. He's also going to have black stripes, so he's not done. Ends gray out. Shadow detail before we go to the black. Where we at? Hour and 7 time. We're just humming right along on this piece. Okay. On that note, bring in the black. We'll do a highlights last. Highlights last on this piece for sure. Okay, black it is. Going through here in a second and outline them a little bit better. A thicker brush just to kind of fill in the majority of it first. Maybe now you can see where I'm planning on going with it. It would be starting to get pretty obvious now. clean the lines up a little bit first. Once we have that done, we can work on shade. We can work on our highlights and shadows on the black stripes. See, I love the idea of having more like parrot colors for the snake. It's not a parrot on his shoulder, it's the snake on his shoulder. I was drawn to this snake in particular. Alrighty. Oh shoot. I just loaded my brush with white paint and just about made a big old mistake. Now, it'd be really easy right now to try to go into crazy amounts of details with the scales, or try not to. I'm going to try to keep it semi-subtle. Just try to get the illusion of scales so that we don't have to paint every single individual scale. It'd take a long time. All right, try to make some subtle scales in the black. good. Right. Try hit the tips. Of each scale, but random scales, so it gets that illusion of light. It's great. Light up in his face a little bit better. I'll just kick out some more highlights and I think we'll be good. I like it. Yeah. Pretty snazzy. A little bit more in here. Cool. Now that I see it all finished up, I actually don't mind the color at all. Initially, when I was doing that light, very light blues and greens in there, I was a little unsure. But now I'm satisfied. Gives it that pop of color I think it needed. That's good. Where are we at? Let's take a quick look around. Before we go into the border, I want to see if there's any place else I want to touch up. Oh, we got the tongue, I got the eye to do, and I got touch up right up there underneath the hat. So let's start off with underneath that hat. So I need a little Payne's gray. That's a quiet stream today, but that's the final. We had a quiet stream lately. Had a decent amount of people showing up to check out the videos. So thank you for that. But on the stream itself has been fairly quiet. Hopefully that's because you're all drawing with me. That'd be fantastic. I've got my dad ears on right now. And here the kids are sneaking around downstairs. Sounds like they're being stealthy. Hopefully it's in a good way. They're whispering and doing it. They're up to something. They've got some kind of master plan taking place. Dad hears everything. All right. Call that good. Now this eye, I think we want to come in here with blues. Go back in, a little more cyan out. Turquoise. I'm definitely using cyan on any the eggs and the snake. I do not want to use turquoise again because this whole background being turquoise would really throw off our piece if we decided to do another color. And the snake actually has a blue eye. I've got so many little piles of black and brown and and Payne's gray out there that I don't sure which is which anymore. So that one's my Payne's gray. And give him a really lively eye. Put a few little highlights on there. And one more little dot. Cool. Alright, now we got a tongue to do. So scarlet it is. Real simple. Scarlet and white. Can't go wrong with that. Payne's gray. Scarlet. Bit. Okay, now comes the pink. Scarlet, little white. And a little white highlight. And that's one forked tongue for a snake. You love the duck? It's not a duck. Like a either a finch or a sparrow. It's a little yellow bird with black wings. I know they exist. Okay. Let's look over it one more time before we move on. I think we're about done with the figure himself. I'm going to say yes. I think I need just a little more highlights up in this before we go anywhere else. Not a lot, just... Right. Happy with that. Here we go. Start working on our final details and finish this full saturated acrylic ink masterpiece up. I'm just calling it top hat right now. I don't know with a top hat, but anybody got an idea for a title on this piece? I'd love to hear your suggestions. Okra out there as well. I will play a game called Match Exactly What I Did Yesterday. I'm going to go ahead and flood it with raw sienna. I'm using, every once in a while, just a touch of okra to the raw sienna, just to kind of yellow certain parts of it out a little bit. Keeping it medium thin. I want to cover the whole thing, but I don't want to cover up the original ink drawing. I want to keep that in there. Where are we at on time? Hour and a half? Okay, we're doing pretty good. I can live with an hour and a half. I'm definitely not going to be pushing the 3-hour mark today, which is just fine with me. They're probably about another 30 or 40 minutes from being finished, if I was a guessing man. When we're all done, we will pretty much not going to do any outlining except for one area I will particularly, and that's going to be probably the inside of the frame. I will go over that with a nice thick black outline just to separate the inside of the picture frame and the outside. I think this, as of right now, that's the only place I'm going to do. See if I change my mind near the end, which sometimes happens, but for the most part, we're all leaving it just acrylic ink. All right, so we got everything coated. One pass. Our number. Here we go. Now we're a little conscious of where our light source coming in, which is upper left-hand corner. So we'll kind of keep that in mind as we're, as I say that, I'm gonna just smack it with the brown. That's not what I wanted to do. At least I hit it where the brown is going to go, not up the top. I will not want this too watery. We're going to build this up over several layers. So don't feel like we have to get it all in one layer in situations like this. Build it up. I like that analogy. Johnny Depp and Edgar Allan Poe had a robot. What's going on, WT? So now's a good time to say it, I guess, again. I did put last week's video up, not once, but twice. I re-edited it and I re-dropped it. I would love to get some feedback from some of you guys who like to check out my videos, because I was not happy with the editing job I had done the first go with the Koi bot. So I re-edited the entire thing, and also I show the original painting that it's based off of. So if you didn't get a chance to see that, go back and watch it, because you get to see the original painting. Give you an idea of what I was actually talking about what painting I reworked. But I think I did a lot better the second go around. I'm going to take the first video off at some point. It was still getting views and people were connecting to it still, so I decided to leave it up. I'm going to let the two videos kind of compete for a little while. But I know that the second video I dropped is a lot better. So it's also in the description below if anyone wants to go click that after the video and check it out. I would greatly appreciate it. All right. This part's a little tricky, but it's just all about the blending, getting the blending right. Ink out. Find it. Where'd I put it? Somebody hid my ink from me. There it is. Tell you what, I was on a roll when I did the other three. For some reason I struggling a little bit more than I thought I would on this last bottom one. It happens sometimes. Suck it up and get through it. Just a few little spots that got kind of a bit overworked and a little frustrated at. Not a big deal. Everything is correctable. In the little areas that are highlight going to be with a little bit of the yellow. Like so. Okay. Yeah, I need to talk to that somebody who lives in Colorado at some point soon. Called me the other day, but little sucker didn't answer the phone. Try him again. All right. Now this is just kind of a matter of just keep working it and blending it until it looks good. You can tell the amount of time that it takes for one of these why I went ahead and did the other 3 prior to going live. I knew that it would be a little bit of a bear. we're pretty much, now I just gotta add a little highlights, and I think we're just about done with this finally. Yeah, just a little more. Now, back over the entire thing with some more highlights. Now that it's all done, let's give it all nice, uniformed highlights. These kind of highlights are a lot of fun. Just little touches of paint. It really brings it together. Cool. Now we got your highlights on the inside rim and the outside. Then I can paint the whole thing out black. That will really pull together, I do believe. Alright, just kind of going around, trying to hit all the little highlighted areas. I don't want to get too many, but I gotta. As many here on the backs and mainly on that side, but still need a few. Okay, one more little inside track here to outline. Need a little more white. I'm going to find someplace on this palette, it's almost full, to put a big thing of black ink. That gives it a nice pop. I may not go with the black line, I may just leave it with the white. That is too much ink. Got a bummer. Okay. Right, we will just play with what we got. Yeah, now that I see the bright white highlight, probably will not do that bold black I was going to do. I am going to leave it off the table now. Well, I say I'm always reserve the right to change my mind. most important to do what the piece is calling for, not so much what I originally had thought. Okay. Now we're going to pull it all together with a final last touch. Cool. Now the question is, where do I put a pile of black ink? I don't think I do. There we go. Now I got a spot. Okay. First things first, I need to outline the entire thing carefully. So I can get, so I don't have to go really, really tight. Once again, I'm gonna get really close because my eyes are terrible. I want to get right up in against the line. Once I've outlined it all, I can take a much bigger brush and we can just coat the whole thing in 2 seconds. The idea right here is to be quick, but very, very cautious. That's one mistake could be a rather large mistake. Black ink does not really erase very well. Oh, I just noticed you responding there, W2. Thanks for checking out both videos. I really appreciate that. Yeah, definitely the second one I think is much better. Like I said, the first video I felt like I rushed it a bit trying to get it out the door. I don't know, wasn't thrilled with it. I went all the way back to the drawing board and made a second video from scratch. Now the next question I'm wondering is, when I recreate it, I'm wondering if I do it with acrylic inks the way I've done this piece right here. I've got another one I'm working on right now in acrylic inks. Well, or do I go back to my good old-fashioned acrylic paint to do it? Kind of feel like acrylic ink might be the way to go, because twofold. One, I plan on leaving a white background. I think I'm just going to do this subject matter all by itself. And I'm not going to go super large with it. I'm thinking like a 12 by 16 or somewhere in that range. But I'm also, because I really like that image, and I think it'd make a phenomenal t-shirt. So I think that could be, basically I'm going to finish it up to have a work of art, but also with the whole mindset that I think that's going to be one of my first t-shirt, because I'm going to start pushing those here real soon. Just a matter of getting images together and figuring out who and where I want to get the shirts done from. I think at this phase right now, I'll probably do a drop shipping place. So you order the shirts direct from a drop ship, and they'll print them off and send them out to order. At least up to the point where I start selling a lot of shirts, and then I'll consider having them screen printed and sell them, having them in house for sale. So I just don't want to invest a whole lot of money on a, several hundred shirts just to turn around and be sitting on them for a long time. So once I know they sell and sell well, then I will prefer to do them in-house. Here's a career I had for a while, printing t-shirts, and it was a lot of fun. I actually really did enjoy it. I think I worked for 4 or 5 different screen companies throughout the years. Pretty much that's how I paid my way through college, is printing t-shirts. And I really enjoyed it. It's one of those things, if I had space here in the house, I'd almost just put a little press in the house and do it myself. But that also takes up quite a bit of time, so I lose a lot of editing time. Ooh. All right, here, final touches. Nice. There we go. That's the brush I want. Staying corrected. This is the brush I want. Now, it didn't take long to run out of ink. All right, getting close. Round in the corner. Last little stretch. Well, there we are. What do you guys think? It looks pretty decent myself. I've got a pen that works here. I don't have anything black to write on. There we go. Testing colors the other day. That'll work. We'll need to sign it in white ink today, because yep, I definitely got the hashtags moving. It seems to be helping. At least my views are up this week, so cross my fingers it keeps on this trend. I'm gonna write my there we go, sign in white. Alright guys, thanks for showing up here. We got here, read through this real quick because I've been falling behind the conversation. Yeah, looks like I'm pretty much all caught up. Yeah, WT, I think that was a good suggestion. Another thing I'm looking at is doing shorts, trying to figure out maybe I can do some daily shorts. Or not semi-daily shorts, I should say. Kind of have some ideas. I'm gonna play around with the concept. We'll see if that doesn't help generate a little bit more traffic to the channel as well. But guys, if you've made it all the way here to the end, you're checking this out, and you've not subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for, my friend? Join the family, smash the button, subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you here. And if anything, just give me that thumbs up, and don't forget that bell notification, because I do go live once a week. So it varies. Typically, it's either Thursdays or Fridays. But if you got that bell notification on, then you'll know when I'm going live. Guys, I'm going to switch over here and make sure that beautiful hair is tucked under that hat for my final Thanks, guys, for showing up. Appreciate all of you. We'll see you next time. Don't forget, like, subscribe, bell notification. Bye, guys. Oh, and then you can drop down in the comments. Leave me a suggestion. What do you think I should paint next? What kind of animal? What kind of thing you want me to do?